it's Karen, and in today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys how I do my online notes or like my digital notes. And yeah, today we will be using Notion. And actually, guys, last year I already used Notion, but I wasn't able to keep up with it. That's why I stopped using it for a while. But now we're back, and that's what matters the most. And yeah, so you guys know that before everything else, before I start, I always have to have a drink. And today's drink is an iced hibiscus tea with red fruits. And yo guys, this tea tastes so fresh, so good. So make sure to go grab your drink before you start taking down your notes. And yeah, so you guys know that even though I do my digital notes, I still have my traditional notes. So I'll be doing a video about it soon. But yeah, for today's video is going to be my e-notes. So to start, of course, you guys have to download Notion into your laptop or your tablet or your iPad or wherever you're using it. And yeah, so I have downloaded it here already, and as you guys can see, I already have, like my subjects in the sidebar. But yeah, so that's what I did. So basically, guys, I just wanted to recreate the feeling of having like a separate notebook for each subject. So yeah, to make it, I just added a page and then typed down the title of my subject. After that, I just clicked on add icon, and then I choose, whatever emoji that I like that best describes the subject to make it, very customized. And yeah, that's another thing that I really love about Notion is that, you get to customize it to whatever you guys personally like. And yeah, so after doing all of my subjects, I pick a subject that I want to start with. So for now, we're going to be doing perspectives in dentistry. So I usually, guys, just click on the plus button and then add page. So what I usually do is that under that subject, I start creating a page for each main topic so that it will be easier for me to browse through them whenever I wanted to, look back on my notes and focus on this specific topic. So yeah, again, guys, this is one thing that I really like about Notion. It's the fact that you guys can literally customize it to however you guys want it to look like or how you guys want it to be, and whatever works for you the best. Because yeah, personally, again, this is my personal preference, and I feel like this one is the most effective for me, like especially when I wanted to review it later on. So as for the icons of the main topics, I just picked like a small square, like a small white square, because I wanted it to be uniform and put together because I don't want my notes to be like messy looking. So yeah, that's what I did with all of the topics, and you guys can just pick your own or you guys can copy mine. And honestly, guys, another reason is that since the icons turn small whenever you click the back button, these small squares became like, it looks like a bullet. So yeah, that's why I personally picked those. So after finally finishing all of the main topics, what I usually do is that I drag the topics to the position that I think it should go, which one should come first whenever you're trying to learn perspectives in dentistry. But then again, guys, all of these stuff are really like customizable to you guys. So no need to worry, just go with your own flow. So now I will begin typing down my notes. So what I usually do is that I click the plus button and then I choose the heading 1 for like the main idea of this topic, so that the font and the size is bigger than the usual like description text. So yeah, Make sure guys to, whenever you type down your notes digitally or write them down traditionally, just make sure to give it a little bit of dimension, I think. So by doing that, it won't look like very plain, and you'll be able to see the differences with the font text, the size and stuff, so it will be easier for you to read them and to, emphasize the specific topics and stuff that you wanted to emphasize. So I think that thing is really important whenever you do your notes. So usually whenever there are like multiple definitions, I usually use bullets so that it's easier for me to locate the start of each sentences. And yeah, it just simply makes the whole layout more put together. So since we're talking about oral cavity and I don't want my notes to be looking, plain, I decided to search Pinterest for an oral cavity picture with labels so that it can also help you to, visualize and memorize different information. And I think this is a great thing to do, especially when you're doing, digital notes. This is like a pro thing about doing digital notes. So what I did was I saved the photo and then I simply opened up Notion again. You guys can actually click the plus button. If you guys are new to Notion, you guys can click the plus button, scroll down, and then you guys can click the add image, button so that you can choose your image and import it into your Notion. So as you guys can see, the picture here is actually quite large, but I didn't mind because there isn't any other information below. So, it's okay to have a huge picture. So yeah, now I moved on to the next main topic, which is all about the parts of the oral cavity. So I did the same thing. So I picked the heading 1 to add emphasis to the main ideas or main things that I needed to define. But then again, guys, later on I'll be showing you some things that I changed. But yeah, so this is how I usually do my notes. Like I start with the main topics and then work from there. But yeah, this is like something that I do in digital notes only, but not, of course, in traditional notes because you cannot move the spaces in traditional notes. So you have to work in a different manner whenever writing down traditional notes. So now we're back in Pinterest and I just typed down tooth anatomy because I wanted to insert a picture, like a diagram of a tooth anatomy. So usually guys, I pick whatever, is the cutest one, but I also pick based on the information stated in the picture. So yeah, even though it may look cute, but that wasn't the information that I was going for. So I just picked this one. So it's, simple, straight to the point, and simply what I was looking for. So guys, here's a more simple way of inserting the picture that you just saved. So simply drag it into your Notion. If you don't want to, click the plus button, add the photo and stuff like that, you just drag it inside. And again guys, you can resize it to however you want. And yeah. So again, just like how I usually do my notes, I start with the main topics or the stuff that I needed to add descriptions. So yeah, after that, that's the time that you can add the smaller texts. But yeah, this is how I usually work, and this is like the most effective way for me to do my digital notes. And I hope that you guys try this method too. But if you guys have your own method, make sure to share them down below with us. So yeah, we can talk about our digital notes life down below. So guys, this was the change that I mentioned in the earlier part of the video. So instead of the heading one, I simply picked the toggle list so that I can have a smaller text because I felt like the heading one was a bit bigger than what I wanted my topics or like the ideas to be. And also the toggle list allows me to have a small arrow type of bullet, which I think again is a great way for me to really notice the topics or like the words that are being emphasized. And speaking of emphasized, I also made it all in capital letters and I also made it bold so that it pops even more. So here guys, as you can see, I put the toggle list, but under that, I also added bullets because then again, there are many definitions or there are many information that I have to write down. So yeah, this is how really like I usually do my notes like all throughout all of my subjects. This is how I do it because this is the most, again, over and over again, this is the most effective way for me. After typing down all of my notes, now the fun stuff begins. So I usually highlight the key points using, the red font. You guys can customize it to whatever color that you like, but personally, I feel like red is like the most popping color, and I can easily see it. That's why I associated it with the key points so that whenever I'm skimming through my notes, it's easy for me to see the main idea, the main points of the stuff that I'm reviewing. So here guys, as you can see, I'm changing the color to orange and not red, just orange because this is another information that I feel like is very important and I wanted to see whenever I'm reviewing, but this is not the most important part or like the key point. So I just change it to orange and then I use the red again for the key points so that's easy for me to determine the information that I am reading. So in doing these steps, if you guys are not yet familiar with your own like choices of colors and the meaning behind it, I suggest that you guys also put a legend in the start of your notebook so that you guys can be kept reminded whenever you guys open your notebook and whenever you type down your digital notes. So now moving on to the topics that I described or put information under. I usually highlight it with gray, and this is also the color that I use in my traditional notes, which is why I decided to make it similar with my digital notes. So here I just highlighted it again with gray so that it looks put together and I know that these are like the topics that has a description under it. So as for the main points or like main idea, main category, I usually highlight it with another color. So for this one, I use the color brown because this is again the color that I use for my traditional notes, so I felt like it's just appropriate for me to match those two together. And yes, so this is how I usually do my digital notes. So sometimes I change the colors into more vibrant colors, but since these are the colors that I personally use in my traditional notes, I just figured that I'd match them to one another so that it looks similar. But yeah, there are times that I change it up a bit, but then again, this is the one that I do now. So again guys, this is one thing that I really love about Notion. You guys can really customize it to whatever color that you want and whatever aesthetic that you like. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!